a real good feeling. Got a real good feeling. Like there is lightning deep in my bones. Yeah, I got a real good feeling. I won't hit no ceiling. I'm going higher than I've ever known. Yeah, I got a real good feeling. Got a real good feeling. Like there is lightning deep in my bones. Yeah, I got a real good feeling. I won't hit no ceiling. I'm going higher than I've ever known. I got a real good feeling.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Coffee and Crypto. I'm your host, Jeb. I'm joined by our president and our co-host, Tim. Would you like to say hi, Tim?
What's up, everybody?
And we're also joined by our standing-in producer, definitely not high, Zach.
I say
who is
definitely not high,
Who is
Zach.
definitely not high. Unfortunately, Smay could not be here today. However, Smay is the one that made that awesome intro sequence, so let's get some love for Smay in the chat. Guys, today we are going to be starting off today's stream by doing some 2-minute technicals on Bitcoin. And what else were we going to do 2-minute technicals on? Binance. We're also going to be doing 2MT on Binance Coin because, as you guys have probably seen, it's down roughly 10% over the last couple of days. And then we're going to be moving into Cardano because Cardano is moving down to some very important support levels, and I want to show you guys how you can maximize this correction on Cardano, start loading up your bags, and really and truly profit from this correction on Cardano. That's our topic for today's stream, guys. I think it's going to be a fantastic stream. If you're looking forward to it, drop a like. Let's see if we can get over 150 likes before we even get started here. We're going to let a couple more people join on in, and we're going to jump straight on into some technical analysis on Bitcoin before moving on to Cardano. Do we see anything in chat? We're going to open the floor for just a second to chat. I'm going to go ahead and move this gigantic lens out of frame. By the way, I do want to mention before we even do that, one of our viewers, who I have his card right here, Tristan, who is in chat almost every single time.
Shout out to Tristan.
Sent us some coffee. Thank you very much, Tristan. Our producer, our filling-in producer, definitely not high, Zach, is a coffee connoisseur.
This is a nice monkey gave us.
Yeah.
Some great Costa Rican coffee. I like the roast. It's really nice.
Yeah. Definitely not high, Zach. Like I said, is a little bit of a coffee connoisseur, and you said it's good, right?
I do like it.
What do you think about it?
I do like it. I think the roast was a little darker for my taste, but some people love that. And the Costa Rican, it was just it had a nice acidic feel, good mouth feel. You know what? It's coffee crazy stuff. It's really good. It's really good.
All right, guys, we're going to just kind of sit here for a couple of minutes, let some more people join on in. Thank you so very much for joining us today, guys. We're going to open the floor for any questions really quickly, and we're going to jump straight onto the charts. I know you guys are looking forward to that. Do we see any great questions in chat? Tristan said he recognized that bag. I bet you do. You're the one that sent it to us. Thank you so much, Tristan, and thank you for the coffee mugs, my friend. Any good questions in chat before we get started?
Yeah, just trying to look over. A lot of people are still getting in here. I mean, I answered the question for them, but somebody asked, like, are you bullish on ADA long-term or just short-term?
Absolutely to one of those. I am bullish on ADA in the long term. I'm going to go ahead and move this off chat really quickly. Shout out to Tristan. You can ask him about his details and his coffee in the comments. I give you authorization to promote yourself in chat, Tristan. As far as ADA is concerned, ADA, we're going to talk about in today's live stream, is likely going to go into a short-term correction. We're going to talk about those support and resistance levels that are critical to the short-term future of ADA. However, on this channel and us as a company, we are looking for an entry position on Cardano. That's one of the reasons that we're talking about it here, is because we're looking to make a sizable investment in Cardano, the cryptocurrency. We're going to be talking about all of that and more in today's stream, guys. Stay tuned for that. If everybody is ready, though, we can go ahead and jump straight onto the Bitcoin chart.
Before we jump in, we do have to update. So for those of you who have joined in with us before, if you're new to the channel, or if you're new to the viewership of this show, we have been doing a thing every single day where Smay, Jeb, and I predict what we think a coin will get to by the next day at 9:30. So we do have to announce, yesterday we decided we were going to do Polkadot, and our predictions were as follows. Smay predicted $36. I predicted $40 because I wanted you guys to earn money, because I am for the people. And Jeb predicted a modest $37.50. If you guys are looking at the price, I think right now we are looking at, give me just
35.32.
35.32. So Smay has won his second round. being a pessimist.
Tisk, tisk, tisk.
So if you were hashtag Team Smay, you were right. But at what cost, really?
At what cost?
We lost money. So
Yeah, we also lost Smay. He's not here. So,
I know, yeah.
By the way, Smay won't be back until Wednesday, so I believe definitely
Yes.
not high. Zach, who is definitely not high, will be filling in as producer for the next couple of days.
Absolutely.
Get used to his smiling face and his awesome producing skills. Is there anything else?
I think that is it. We will actually chime in. So again, if you're new, at the end of the show, we will make our prediction. We are going to be making our prediction for Monday,
Yep.
and we're going to be predicting Bitcoin's price 9:30 a.m. Eastern time on Bitcoin.
I think that will be fantastic, and I think Team Jeb is going to win because Team Jeb always wins in spirit, even if we are inaccurate sometimes.
I don't know if that really matters. I think it matters more to win.
I don't know. We'll see. Anyway, guys, let's go ahead and jump straight on to the Bitcoin chart. I know you guys are looking forward to it. Like I said, this stream we're going to be largely talking about Cardano. However, we do want to talk about Bitcoin just a little bit. We're going to do some blank-to-bank technical analysis on Bitcoin because I know you guys are all interested in Bitcoin. We're going to chime in about Binance Coin briefly, and then we're going to move on to ADA, otherwise known as Cardano. So let's go ahead and do it. This is our 2-minute technical segment for Bitcoin. Let's go ahead and get started. As you guys know, Bitcoin has a current all-time high of $58,450 and change. And looking down here on the 4-hourly chart, we can see that Bitcoin very much recently rallied all the way to $58,100 just about 24 hours ago. Over the last 16 hours, Bitcoin has been in correction and we've pulled back 5%. You see this showing up over on CoinMarketCap. We are still up over the last 7 days though, and I want you guys to keep that in mind. Just because we're going into a short-term correction right now does not mean that the longer-term rally that we've been in for the last week is over. Quite the contrary, we're going to be talking about a cup and handle formation here in just a second. Staying on the 4-hourly chart, we can also find a plethora of different support trend lines that Bitcoin is currently respecting. I'm just going to go ahead and draw them and then discuss them. There are really 3. Number 1, we have this longer term one right here. This isn't necessarily in play right now, but you're going to see why this might be important later. Again, for anyone who just tuned in, we're going to be diving fully into Cardano here in just a second, but I want to start with Bitcoin because I know you guys are interested in it. We also see that there is an uptrending level of support right here and an uptrending level of support right here. All 3 of these are going to play pivotal roles in Bitcoin's support over the next several days. However, I'm just going to tell you, I have a feeling that both of these support trend lines are going to break, and we're going to need this one. I'll show you why here in a second. Zooming back out to the daily chart, guys, you're also going to find that Bitcoin's MACD, while it is converging on itself over the last 24 hours, is still bullish. We saw a bullish MACD cross on Bitcoin just 4 days ago, and that is indicative that we're going into a new rally and that Bitcoin is very healthy. Same is said on the RSI. We rallied to 68 and pulled back a little bit today, but nothing to be concerned about there because RSI didn't get massively overextended. Only rallying to 68 is not a bad thing. In fact, it's very healthy. So with that in mind, Bitcoin has more room to run, and it does have the possibility of rallying above $58,000. Looking at the 20 daily EMA, we can also see that the 20D EMA is sitting right here and is actually following this uptrending level of support, which is going to come into play here in just a second, so stay tuned. Volume is down over the last 2 days. However, over the last week, it is generally trending to the upside. That is a good sign. Now, the final thing I want to say on Bitcoin before we move on to Binance Coin and then to Cardano, which is the main topic of today's live stream, is I want to show you some simple formation analysis on Bitcoin. You guys may know the formation called a cup and handle formation. It occurs whenever you see this kind of pattern show up. I'll just go ahead and draw what one looks like. It will look something like this. What you see happen in a cup and handle formation is you have a flat level of resistance, let's call it right here. Then you have an uptrending level of support, you see it right here. You go into a big correction and then a smaller one, and then you break out. You have the cup right here and the handle right there. That, I think, is what we're about to see happen on Bitcoin. Remember this uptrend that I talked about just recently? Well, I think we're actually going to break these 2 shorter term uptrends. We're going to pull back and test this. That's going to be our handle right here to our larger cup right here, and then we're going to break $58,000 in the next couple of days, and we're going to start rallying towards $60,000 to $70,000 over the course of the next several weeks. I want to hear y'all's opinion on that. My southern drawl's coming out. I just called y'all. I want to hear your opinion on that in the chat. I think we're going to be breaking all-time high in the next 7 days, but I could be totally wrong about that. I could be completely missing something. I want your take on that. Remember, guys, this is the 2-minute technical segment where I break down the technical analysis on a couple of the big coins that you might be interested in, and then we're going to move into the meat and potatoes of today's stream, which is talking about Cardano, its dip, and how we maximize the opportunity at hand. I'm going to throw it back to chat for just a couple of seconds, and then we're going to move on to Binance Coin briefly. What do we see in chat, Tim?
Yeah, I think actually a lot of people agree with you in there. I mean, ultimately they would like to agree with you, because if you are right, that's gonna get us some more money with Bitcoin. But yeah, no. Hey, so someone says Bitcoin to 1 million by next week. I don't know.
Oh, come on. That's obvious, guys. We know Bitcoin's going to official prediction from the Crypto Jeb channel. We're going to $10 million by the end of this stream now.
Yeah. No, actually, just not really that many questions in chat. I think people liked it. I think we're ready to move on to, what was our other one? We're going to do Binance.
Yes, we're also going to be talking about Binance Coin, and then we're going to move on to Cardano. If you're here for Cardano, stay tuned. We are going to be jumping into that very briefly. If you haven't already, consider hitting that like button. I think we have something special happening at 500 likes, and I completely forgot what it was.
Yes, okay, yeah. So if we get to 500 likes today before 10:10, because I think that's around where the 30-minute marker is.
Yes.
So we talked yesterday. For those of you who are new, Jeb obviously speaks very fast. People comment on the fact that he could be easily either a auctioneer or even a rapper. And the truth is that Jeb actually knows the obscure lyrics to several songs. So if you guys get us to 500 before 10:10, we're going to be releasing a video on Instagram at some point in the very near future of him rapping his favorite songs. If we get to 1,000 likes before the hour is over, that one, what do we say? Oh, if we get to 1,000 likes, we will be doing a giveaway to one random person in chat who comments a word that is to be decided later on in the video.
Yes.
So stay tuned for that. But if we get to 1,000 likes before the hour is up, we will be giving away one of our CT2A courses for free to a lucky winner.
And someone asked, does CT2A work better with coffee? The answer is yes. Obviously. I don't even know why you had to ask that. No, I'm kidding. Yes, it does absolutely work better with coffee. Shout out to our friend who just sent us some coffee. Guys, if you haven't already, hit that like button and consider subscribing. Thank you so much for joining us. We're going to go ahead and move on to Binance and then jump straight into the meat and potatoes of today's video. So if you are excited, then drop a 1 in chat. Let's go ahead and jump straight onto the chart. Guys, Binance Coin is down today. Looking over on CoinMarketCap, we can see that it is down 10.5% today, and that actually kind of makes sense. You're going to see why I say that here in a second. This is the Binance Coin chart, but I'm going to go ahead and get rid of several of these formations because we don't need most of them. In fact, I'm going to get rid of every single one of them except for the all-time high at $350. This is the 4-hourly chart for Binance. Let's move out to the daily chart, and I'm going to show you a few things that you need to pay attention to. Actually, I'm going to go back into the 4-hourly chart because I'm prepared. Let's look here at our support and resistance trend lines. Namely, we have a resistance trend line right here that unfortunately Binance Coin broke and is now, that we broke bullish out of. Not unfortunately, that's a very good thing. We also see that there's an uptrending level of support right here. And the very first thing that's going to jump out at you is this uptrending level of support is exactly where Binance Coin bounced. For anyone who might be wondering, what is technical analysis? Why is it important? Should I really care? Look at where Binance Coin bounced just a couple of hours ago, down here at $250. Those are two levels that we need to pay attention to. Number one, this uptrend right here predicted that bottom. And also, if you understand math psychology, which is one of the big things we talk about in CT2A, you'll understand where $250 comes from. It is 1/4 of the way between $0 and $1,000. What that means is that it's a nice, whole, even, pleasant-looking number, so people are going to like to put their trades there. People are going to like to put buy orders at $250, $251 rather than $272.43. It's just not as appealing of a number. $250, therefore, became a major support level, and we bounced, and over the last couple of hours, Binance Coin has actually bounced 6.5%. That's why you can't just go on CoinMarketCap and say, oh, it's down over the last 24 hours. Well, it's actually up 6.5% over the last 2 hours. There are trading opportunities in that, so make sure you're diving into the chart. If we zoom out to the daily chart, I want to show you a few things on the technicals that are, however, not as amazing. We see that MACD tried to cross bullish on Binance Coin, but unfortunately it failed because we have had this correction. Binance Coin and ADA seem to be moving a little bit slower and lagging a little bit behind Bitcoin and Ethereum. We've talked about this in other streams. Bitcoin and Ethereum are doing very well right now. However, Binance Coin and Cardano are pulling back while those two coins seem to be doing very well. Look out for a bullish cross on Binance Coin USD, and if that does occur, then you may be looking for an entry position. $250 is strong support on Binance Coin, so that is a place that you could consider buying. I would be looking to the fundamentals for the answer to that question. I want to point one more thing out, though, before we move on, though. And that is that a lot of people are concerned about Binance Coin pulling back 20% in the last 2 days or 11% in the last 24 hours. Remember, guys, perspective is everything in technical analysis. If we look back to February 1st, just 40 days ago, even with the absolute low that Binance Coin has moved to over the last 24 hours, we are still up 457% in 40 days. Binance Coin has had a stupidly large rally, and that's something that if you're interested in, we can do an entire stream breaking down why Binance Coin is doing so well. So if you're looking to invest in Binance Coin, consider the possibility that it may be a little bit overextended, and if you're looking for a trade entry, the price of around $250 does seem to be holding strong. What do we have in chat, my friend?
Yes, we have absolutely nothing about Binance in chat.
Do we not now?
Everyone is talking about Cardano. I think people are very, very much looking forward to that information.
I am too.
Before we get there, just to answer people's questions on why we were talking about Binance, why we're talking about Bitcoin, again, we have a lot of viewers, which I'm assuming some of you guys are first-time new viewers,
Yeah.
in which case, thank you so much for being here. We are so glad you joined in. We start every single stream with 2-minute technicals, and what we're doing a little different today is instead of breaking down, because what we were doing is looking at the top 5 coins, and if we were going into a detail on one of them, we wouldn't do 2-minute technicals on that one. We actually found we maybe wasted time, and some of our older viewers will see we maybe wasted time and didn't really talk about too much interesting. What we're going to be doing from here on out, so you guys know when you're with us, is we'll be taking the top 2 coins that have been moving and breaking the technical analysis down on them in our 2-minute technicals. So the reason we chose we chose Binance Coin and Bitcoin because we figured that was the one most people are going to be interested in, and Binance because despite the fact that maybe people aren't the most interested in it, it made some massive moves in the last couple of days, especially today. So that's what the new system is going to be going forward. But we will still be discussing all the other ones as needed and when it's important. The reason we didn't break down Ethereum or Polkadot was because there really just wasn't necessarily too much movement on those in the last 24 hours. But when there is movement, trust me, we will break it down. But other than that, I think we can go ahead. I'm pretty safe to say, based off the chat, we are good to go ahead and jump into Cardano.
I think that's fantastic. I think that's a great idea, guys. We're going to go ahead and jump into our discussion about Cardano. Here in a couple of minutes, we're going to break down the technicals on Cardano. But remember, guys, doing analysis on a chart isn't all about the technicals. It's not just about seeing what the indicators say. It's also about understanding the project behind the cryptocurrency, behind the price action. That's the fundamentals. So we want to talk a little bit about the fundamentals of Cardano and how you should actually be approaching this market. Should you be fearful that Cardano is moving into a correction or not? When we look at CoinMarketCap, I'm going to go ahead and jump over here really quickly. Looking at CoinMarketCap, you're going to find that Cardano is down 7% on the day. It's down 7% on the week as well, and it's dropped away from I think it was sitting at number 3 for a little while. Now it's sitting all the way down at number 5. People seem to be concerned about Cardano, thinking, oh my gosh, what's going on? Why is Cardano moving to the downside? This is not something that we should be scared about. And guys, I'm going to tell you right now, this whole stream in a nutshell, the point of it is we want to help shift your mindset away from thinking of corrections as a bad thing to looking at corrections as what they actually are, which are fire sales. One of the main points that we want to make in this entire stream, I'm going to make it up front, and we're going to throw it on the table for discussion between Tim and I, is that corrections are not a bad thing. If you look back on the history of Bitcoin, you look back on the history of Ethereum, think about every single time that one of those cryptocurrencies went into a correction. What ended up happening? I mean literally every single time. The cryptocurrency rallied above where it was. Let me go onto the chart, and I'll go ahead and show you this briefly, and then we're going to dive deep into this concept and make sure you guys are fully understanding this. Let's look at literally any corrective movement on Bitcoin. Correction right here, boom, you would have been in profit if you bought the dip. Correction right here, boom, you would have been in profit. Correction, boom, you would have been in profit. Profit, 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 profit. If you hold long enough, every single dip that you buy, even if you're catching a falling knife, meaning that you bought, let's say, right here, and then tomorrow Bitcoin jumps off a cliff, you still eventually would have been in profit if you bought here, here's the knife, and you sold up here. When you buy, that's the entry. When you sell, that's the exit. It doesn't matter what the cryptocurrency does in between. That is what we want to help you guys understand, is the mindset around trading and investing. Because as we talk about all the time here on the channel, we talk about how your mindset is the actual most important foundation for your profitability in cryptocurrency. And we're going to be discussing that through the lens of Cardano and how we can be profiting in this market today. Tim, one example that you brought up earlier was the concept of pruning rose bushes and how you have the most beautiful rose bushes after you have pruned them and allowed them to come back stronger. I think you worked in landscaping a little bit, didn't you?
I did. I would not, though, profess to be an expert gardener, I guess. My mom had a rose garden that when I would get in trouble, one of my punishments was I had to weed the entire bed, which was the absolute worst. But for not being an expert, I do know from the people who are, you clearly have to be very on top of pruning all of the dead branches. And then when a flower is finished blooming, you got to prune it. And the reason for that is if you don't do it, then the flowers end up coming. You might get more flowers, but they're smaller. They're less. They smell not as less pungent. But what's the beneficial way of saying that? I don't even know.
Less nice.
Less nice. Yeah, that's a good thing. At the end of the day, you end up growing a very unhealthy rose bush. Versus if you pruned properly, it grows larger, and the flowers are not only beautiful but larger and smell way, way, way better. That concept is the same with this. If we don't prune overgrowth in the crypto, even in the stock market, if you don't prune overgrowth and overextensions, then it's going to end up getting pretty ugly, and it has a deep drop, potentially a death even, but a pruning from time to time is actually a beautiful thing.
Absolutely. So guys, we're going to go ahead and do our technical analysis on Bitcoin, and then we're going to continue discussing this topic, showing you guys how you can make the most money in this space. Drop a 1 in chat if you're excited for some Cardano TA. We're going to be starting right now. Guys, this is the Cardano chart. This is where we're going. But this is where we're starting. We need to start with absolutely nothing so that we can do blank-to-bank technical analysis on Cardano. Blank-to-bank technical analysis is the format of technical analysis where we take a completely blank chart and I show you all of the steps that you need to take to actually analyze and understand how to profit and invest trade and invest profitably in this market. The very first thing we want to do is define our support and resistance levels. Then we're going to move into our trend lines. Obviously, guys, the all-time high touch at $1.48 is going to be a very important resistance level on Cardano, so let's go ahead and draw it there. The next major level that we need to look at is going to be $1 flat, and the reason for that is because $1 is a mass psychological level of support. Drop a 7 in chat if you were in the Cryptocurrency Technical Analysis Academy, because there is a video in CT2A where we cover something called mass psychology. I want you to remember a little nugget here, and that is that the movements of the markets are the manifestations of the machinations of traders. Play that twice or 7 times or 100 times if you want to. The point of that is that the market moves based on the way the traders and the investors are thinking, because the way the traders and the investors are thinking informs how those traders and investors are going to use their money, which informs what the market does. So if you go back to the beginning and you understand how they're thinking, then you can predict how they're going to act and you can predict how the market is going to move. One of the ways you do that is by looking at big evens. $1, for example, like we talked about earlier on Binance Coin, is a big even. People like that number. It's a whole number. It's a pretty number. It is a beautiful number that people like to put buy orders at, so it makes sense that it's serving as a level of support on Cardano. If we look at our previous rally on the 11th of February, we're also going to see that 97.5 cents was an important level of resistance that we used to have as an all-time high touch. If we zoom into the 4-hourly chart, we're also going to find that there is currently a double bottom being formed on Cardano, sitting at $1.03. Earlier today, we briefly fell below that, but in most part, we are setting $1.03 as a level of support. What that means is that we have 3 levels of support very close to each other, and together they come together to form what we call a zone of support in between 97.5 cents and $1.03 based on the chart, but also based on mass psychology. There is a zone of support that Cardano is respecting. When we are in this zone, it's likely that we're going to bounce if the fundamentals allow it. So with that said, let's look for some trend lines. We've now established our flat levels of support. Now we need to look for trend lines. One trend line that we're going to find is down on the hourly chart, and it's going to be a downtrending level of resistance. If you'll pay attention here, you will notice that Cardano has a couple of highs. They are lower highs, a high right here and a lower high right here. Cardano is actually in what we call a descending triangle pattern. That's a pattern where we have a downtrending level of resistance and a flat level of support. These 70% of the time, guys, break bearish. But I'm actually inclined to believe that in this case, that 30% chance that we're going to break bullish may end up becoming true. We'll find out. However, I think that may be where we're heading. So these are the support and and resistance levels. That's our trend line we need to pay attention to. Let's zoom back out to the daily chart and look further into the technicals on Cardano. One thing we need to pay attention to is the fact that Cardano has been in a downtrend for the last 13 days and has already pulled back 30%. If you look back on the history of Bitcoin, you're going to find that Bitcoin and many other cryptocurrencies generally pull back about 40%. Notice how most of these pullbacks are around 35 to 40%. 35 to 40% is a healthy correction amount on Cardano and on Bitcoin. Cardano might correct even more than that, but in general, 40% seems to be a healthy territory for a cryptocurrency to correct. We've been in a correction for the last 3 days, and if we look at our MACD and MACD is very, very bearish right now. It's been continually diverging bearish for the last 10 nearly days. That's indicative that we might have been rallying to the downside a little bit too far. We've been moving to the downside quite significantly for a while now. Bitcoin and Ethereum are starting to rally. Bitcoin's corrected a little bit in the last 12 hours, but in general, they're both in uptrends. Begs the question, why is Cardano still in a downtrend when all of these other cryptocurrencies are up? We're going to continue talking about that here in a second. RSI is pulled to the downside. We're sitting around 50. That's perfectly fine. Nothing to be worried about there. We're starting to get into that overextended territory, but we're not there yet. It says that Cardano could continue a downtrend for a little while. However, it's probably going to bounce at some point soon. Looking at the volume, we can see that volume is anemically low. Since we're in a downtrend, low volume signals weakness in the downtrend. Let me say that again. Low volume signals weakness in the downtrend. Whenever you're in a downtrend, you expect to have high volume if you want a strong downtrend. In the same way, when you're in an uptrend, you expect to have high volume if you want a strong uptrend. Volume defines the strength of the trend. We're in a downtrend, the volume's low. That means that the bears are not very strong right now, else the volume would be a lot higher. Looking at the 20 daily EMA, however, we find what may end up being a nail in the coffin for Cardano. This is going to be a big point on Cardano, and that is the fact that we just broke bearish below the 20 daily EMA. For anyone who is in Cardano right now, you need to pay attention to this. The 20 daily EMA is so important that we have an entire video dedicated to it in the Cryptocurrency Technical Analysis Academy, and the reason for that is because the market loves respecting the 20 daily EMA. Notice all of the support that Cardano found down here on the 20 daily EMA. Notice that when we broke the 20 daily EMA right here, we went into a downtrend, and when we broke above it, we started getting out of that trend and finally broke bullish. The 20 daily EMA is incredibly important on Cardano and a level that we need to pay attention to. So the fact that we just broke bearish below it for the first time since December of last year is indicative that yes, we may be putting a strong test on these support zones and levels. So this is the question at hand right now. We have strong support below us. We have weak volume, indicating that the downtrend isn't very strong, and we have the fact that Bitcoin and Ethereum are in uptrends. All three of those things should indicate that Cardano is going to break to the upside. However, Cardano just broke bearish below its 20 daily EMA, and we're in a descending triangle pattern. Both of those are bearish factors. So one of the things we're going to talk about in this stream is what do you do when technical analysis seems to be pointing you in both directions? What do you do when you have bullish and bearish technicals? Who do you listen to? I want to throw it back to chat for any questions really quickly, and we're going to continue talking about that concept and how we make the most out of this correction on Cardano and hopefully come to some conclusions, some conclusions on where it is heading. Tim, do you have anything to add to that?
Yeah, so overwhelmingly in chat, we see some lovers of ADA, we see some haters of ADA, we see some people saying, let me know when it's back into a pump and I'll come back. We even have some people talking about DOT and kind of arguing and they're not arguing, my bad. They're talking about why DOT is actually the better option than ADA. For the purpose of ADA, I guess Hoskinson, the founder, has kind of made it his warpath, I guess, to take out Ethereum. Like he's made that clear versus Polkadot's trying to build something. So someone's like, well, why not DOT instead, since it's actually working to build future, whereas ADA has a thought to actually take out another coin. I think they'd love to hear your thought on that before we move forward.
Great question. So, is Apple a successful company? Mic drop. Of course Apple is a successful company. They're worth $2 trillion. When Apple was founded, IBM was the computing supergiant. Like the super corporation of computers. Every computer on the market, not every computer, but most computers on the market were IBM computers. Apple came in and said, we're going to make a Macintosh. In fact, we're going to make the Apple II, and then the Macintosh came later. We're going to make the Apple II. We're going to put computers in the home. We're going to make the personal computer come to life. And they competed against IBM, the big dog who'd been doing it for decades. We're seeing a similar thing happen right now between Ethereum and Cardano. We're seeing a big power player called Ethereum being competed against by Cardano. Cardano competing with IBM, with Ethereum, does not mean that Cardano is not a good project. Competition is the essence of capitalism. It's the lifeblood of a free market. So when Cardano comes in and it says, no, you know what, Ethereum, you are messing up on a plethora of different issues. We've talked about the issue of Cardano versus Ethereum many times here on the channel. We've talked about how Ethereum is using 1,000 times as much power. We've talked about the high gas fees. We've talked about the slow block times. We've talked about the inadequacies in transactional throughput. We've talked about the antiquated protocols. We've talked about many of the things that Ethereum's struggling with and how Cardano is aiming to fix those. So when we ask the question, shouldn't we invest in DOT because DOT is building something new? Well, should you not have invested in Apple? Apple was, yes, they were building something new, but really, they were competing against something that already existed. At the end of the day, no one ever builds anything new. There's nothing new under the sun. There are only improvements and changes to what already is. Because Polkadot is actually doing the exact same thing that Cardano is doing. Polkadot is a Web 3.0 protocol. It is trying to reinvent how the internet is done, how the internet operates. So actually, both of them are building something new by competing against something that exists. There's really no difference between the two. Do we believe in Polkadot? Yes. I think Polkadot is a great investment. It's just not what we're talking about right now. I think Polkadot and Cardano are both fantastic projects. And as far as our opinion on them, I stand behind both of them. So great question. There's my 2 cents on that. Yeah. Guys, if you haven't already, consider dropping a like on the channel. Apparently, we are going to be doing a rap video over on our Instagram at CryptoJeb if we hit 500 likes in the next 10 minutes or so.
It's 5 minutes. We got 5 minutes left.
We got 5 minutes to hit 500 likes. Let's see if we can do it, guys. Thank you so very much for tuning in. Someone said, where the hell is Smay? Smay is on vacation right now. I think he's in Disney World. Where is Smay? Where did Smay go? Good question. Do we know where Smay actually went? We just know he took time off.
I believe he went to Disneyland. I have no idea. I think it's Disney World.
Smay disappeared. We don't know. Either way, Smay's not here, so definitely not High Zach, who is definitely not high, is filling in to produce the show. Guys, we are going to continue discussing Cardano. If you just tuned in, we just did a lot of technical analysis on Cardano. We're going to be discussing the topics of how do we know where Cardano is going and how do we discern what a cryptocurrency market is actually going to do when the technicals seem to be pulling us in 2 different directions. And we're also going to be talking about how to maximize our profits in this space by looking at downtrends as opportunities. So, any questions on that, please leave them in chat. It looks like we're about to hit that 500 like mark.
We are definitely about to hit that. Before we move forward, Zach, you want to say something?
Yeah, someone said Smay is being a tree in Disney World.
That's true.
That's funny. That's true. I love the name. I love the idea of calling his team Team Trees instead of Team Smee. Yeah, that's pretty funny.
No, another question I think that would be actually very valuable for everyone to hear your answer to. First of all, you did predict that it would drop below $1. I did. We were talking about a week ago, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So. I think people are kind of asking, really, in reality, what you're thinking it'll get down to overall. And some people are like, so I'm selling this to go ahead and get over into Ethereum, to go ahead and get over to Bitcoin. We've talked a lot about this, but maybe even give more of your thought on that mentality thing, because when something is dropping, unless it is just fundamentally being destroyed, this is not the time to sell whatsoever. But help everyone know what the coin should be possibly going down to so they know how long they should be holding.
Absolutely, guys. So I'm actually going to throw this back to the chart because there's something I want to show you on the Bitcoin chart that'll help to detail my response to that question. I want to show you this chart right here. This is March of last year. Quite frankly, I don't know why we let March back into the calendar after how it acted last year. During March of last year, Bitcoin corrected 50% in a day. Look at this. Bitcoin corrected 50% in 24 hours from $8,000 to $4,000. If you look on this chart with context, it's very easy to see and say, oh, wow, I should have bought down here. I should have bought right here. I should have gone into the market at this point. Now let me ask you the exact same question, but let me do this to the chart. Now would you be as confident buying Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies? Now would you be as confident buying this dip? Now would you be as confident buying Bitcoin down at $4,000? Well, when you fast forward and you realize, oh, wait a second, Bitcoin actually did rally, Bitcoin actually did bounce, Bitcoin actually did move several 100% to the upside over the course of the next 200 days, then you say, yes, absolutely I would have bought that dip. At the time, you don't know if you would have bought that dip. In fact, I was there during that dip, and everybody who said, I'm waiting for Bitcoin to have a big correction so I can buy the dip. Well, you know what they did? They didn't buy the dip. Why didn't they buy the dip? Because they didn't trust the long-term fundamentals for Bitcoin. This is the essence of this video, guys. The reason we're making this video is because I want to shift your mindset about corrections in markets. Every single time that Bitcoin has ever gone into a correction, it has rallied and recovered that loss. Even if it took 3 years, eventually it did. The way that you can be confident in that is by understanding the fundamental analysis on Bitcoin. We here at this channel do a ton of technical analysis, but we also understand the absolute critical importance of fundamental analysis. Whenever Cardano moves into a corrective movement, it's actually not necessarily the technicals that you need to be looking at if you want to buy the dip. Yes, you want to do that. You want to look for support levels. We just talked about a support zone between 97.5 cents and $1.03. We want to look at the technicals, but don't neglect the fundamentals. Get this, guys. If you understand the fundamentals and you see a correction happening on Cardano, you need to ask yourself the question, is this correction happening because of something bad that's happening in the ecosystem? Is Cardano overextended? Is Cardano a bad project? Does Cardano actually have a future? Does Cardano have a place in the marketplace? Is there a reason that Cardano should rally in the long term? Do I trust this project and its team and its industry? If the answer to that question is yes, then yeah, buy the dip. You might catch a falling knife. You might buy and then the next day lose 20%. But are you going to sell the next day, or are you planning on selling 5 years from then? Because when I invest in cryptocurrencies, I plan on holding for at least 12 months. That's the definition of investing, is the difference between short-term and long-term capital gains is the year marker. If you're getting long-term capital gains, you're investing in something. Short-term capital gains, you can consider that a trade or a swing trade or a short-term investment. If you want to invest in Cardano, you need to look at the fundamentals. If you're just looking for a trade, then yes, all technicals, you don't need to worry that much about the fundamentals. But I want you to understand the idea of a fire sale. When we say Cardano is on a fire sale right now, the reason we're saying that is because it's down 33%. It would rally 55% to get back to all-time high. Do we believe in the project? We here believe in the project. So while we're not financial advisors, I will tell you, as a company that has very large holdings in cryptocurrency, we are looking to make a big bet on Cardano, and we ourselves are looking for the bottom so that we ourselves can get invested in this cryptocurrency. So when we talk about, do we want to buy the dip? That's why it's so important, is because we need to pay attention to the long term. Go ahead, Tim.
Yeah, I actually think that's really important, even what you just said right there, clarifying that we, like as a company, we are not saying, listen, if you don't like the fundamentals on ADA, don't buy. Like, we have said that time after time after time. This is not necessarily a show trying to advise you in the sense of, because we're not financial advisors. We are telling you what we see, and we will tell you how we think. You guys are supposed to then go and do your own research. You can utilize this show for that, but we want you to still learn your own fundamentals. We want you to make decisions and be comfortable with your decisions before you make any types of purchases. But that being said, we want you guys to know how we are thinking. We want you guys to know what we're doing, and then we'll let you know. If we're wrong, we'll tell you we were wrong. But if we're right, we will continue to say, guys, this is how we are thinking, so we'll continue to do so. Before we move forward, and I think we're really close to being done with this section before we move into potentially looking at some other people's coins or some random coins. A good question I want to make sure I ask, because I do think it was actually really good. I want to get back up to it. If I scroll. So Artloft Mallorca, I don't know how your thing is pronounced, but he had a very good technical question, and he was reading his chart, and it says it looks like it should be dropping to about 0.72. But one of his questions was, he would want to know what support level you find to be the most important, the VPVR or the EMA, or what is the thing that you're really looking at to make that bottom prediction. I think that's going to help people a lot to know what to think on how long to hold before they just buy and not just freak out and sell.
Absolutely, guys. And that actually leads us very elegantly into the next point of this stream, is where we're going to actually break down, based on those differentiated technical indicators, some things are pointing bullish, some things are pointing bearish, where might Cardano be going, and how do we actually capitalize on what's happening in this market? By the way, we're also going to be doing some short technical analysis on a cryptocurrency. We're going to give you 5 options to choose from a little bit later, but first, let's go ahead and jump back on to the Cardano chart. If you're looking forward to it, hit that like button. Thank you guys so much for 500 likes. I guess I'm just going to have to go ahead and rap on Instagram. That's going to be interesting. Follow us at CryptoJeb over on Instagram. We post quite a lot over there, and I'd love to see your smiling face. Let's go ahead and get back onto the Cardano chart. Some people are asking, where exactly do I see Cardano pulling back to? Do we want to look at the VPVR? Do we want to look at the MACD? Or do we want to look at other moving averages? That is a fantastic question. Guys, what you need to understand about technical analysis is that it's actually very simple. Looking at the 20 daily EMA, when we break bearish below it, typically speaking, you're going to be in a correction for a while. You're typically not just going to correct and then bounce right back up above it 2 days later. It happens. Normally speaking, you're going to be below it for 14 days around that time. So with that in mind, looking at our other support levels before we start making any predictions about where Bitcoin or Cardano in this case is going, we need to actually figure out what are the support levels that Cardano could go to? What makes sense for Cardano to pull back to? Namely, I'm looking at the 50 daily simple moving average, which is currently sitting at 83 cents. The reason I'm looking at that is because since the 20 daily EMA is broken, since we are talking about how we might break $1 in that support zone around it, then we need to find out where is Cardano actually going to go to. We can't just say, oh, boom, Cardano is going to pull back. We want to figure out where it's actually going to go so that we can have as much information as possible at hand so that we're able to make informed decisions on how to move in this market. Another support level that we want to look at is 68 cents. You can see this is a previous touch right here where Cardano pulled back to, and I believe if we look way back in history, this was actually relevant if you go on a couple of the charts. We don't see it on this chart though, however, so I'll go ahead and leave that. Another support level that we're going to look at is sitting right here. I'm going to put this in between these two candlesticks because it actually shows up just a little bit below 83 cents, around 79 cents. I'm actually going to move this down to 75 cents because, guys, remember, 75 cents, just like $1, is one of those big even math psychological levels of support. It's 3/4 of the way from $0 to $1, so that's a potential support level as well, and it does line up with the chart pulling back right here. Guys, we talked about earlier how there are bullish and bearish factors. There are bearish factors in that we see that we broken the 20 daily EMA. We see that the MACD is bearish. We see RSI is pulling back. We're in a descending triangle pattern. However, we see bullish factors such as the fact that the rest of the cryptocurrency market seems to be rallying and the fact that we have strong support beneath us. Let's go ahead and break down really quickly how you approach this scenario. You don't. What? Huh? The thing that a lot of people do whenever we're caught between bullish and bearish is we instinctively try and decide what side we're on. Humans are very tribalistic creatures. I don't know if you've noticed that through the political zeitgeist going on right now. We like picking sides. We like picking a team. How many days does Tim come in and he's wearing a VT shirt because he wants to be on a team? You know, that's how humans work. We want to be on a side. We don't want to just say, okay, whichever side starts to win, I'm going to pick them. I want to encourage you not to look at cryptocurrency market. Let's use the lens of football so that Tim can chime in. Think about how you watch a football game. Do you go into the football game? Because there's two ways to go into a football game. You can go in and you can watch a football game saying, I am betting on this team. This is my team. I want them to win. Or you can be shrewd and you can wait until the fourth quarter before you decide what team you want to bet on because you already see the writing on the wall. So I want to encourage you, even though you might not be able to do that if you're betting on, I don't know, the Cowboys in Vegas, you can, however, do that in cryptocurrency. You don't have to pick the team until you already know what team is going to win. So when we ask ourselves the question, is Cardano about to pull back, the bearish scenario, or is Cardano about to rally, the bullish scenario? The trick is not to figure out which one is right. The trick is to wait and see. So let me jump back onto the chart really quickly, and I'll go ahead and detail what I'm talking about. We are in a consolidation pattern on Cardano. We are in a descending triangle pattern with a downtrend right here and a support level right here. It's very tempting to say, oh, I'm bearish. Cardano's going to pull back to 75 cents. Or, oh, I'm bullish. Cardano's going to rally up to $1.50 and break all-time high. Which side am I on? It doesn't matter. Here's what you do instead. You wait for the breakout, and then you enter your freaking trade. It's really simple, guys. Whenever Cardano breaks bullish, if it were to break bullish, you enter a trade around $1.18 and ride it all the way up to all-time high because we broke bullish. Great. Then after the play is made, then you bet on which play you want to go with. It's a little bit of a cheat. You don't think this way in most of your life. You think, oh, before we even start, I have to make my bet. No, you can wait until the trade's already in motion before you make your bet. Or on the other hand, if Cardano breaks 97.5 cents, you can enter a trade right down here and ride it down to our support level at 75 cents. That's why before I said that, I wanted to show you where the support and resistance levels are. If Cardano breaks to the upside, okay, fine, enter a long trade. If Cardano breaks to the downside, okay, fine, enter a short trade. Where do I think Cardano is going? I have a feeling, based on my experience, and I could be completely wrong here, I have a feeling that Cardano is going to break bullish because I know I don't want to just give you a cop-out and not tell you where I think Cardano is going. I think Cardano is more likely than not going to break bullish, but I'm not very confident in that answer. We're talking maybe 60 to 65% likelihood. But it doesn't actually matter because you get to wait until the breakout before you make your trade. So what all this ties back into, the way that we put a nice neat bow on this entire point, is that whenever you're caught between two different options, bullish or bearish, don't decide until the market has decided and then follow the market and make the trade that the market is showing you. If there's indecision in the market, you be indecisive also. The reason I'm kind of indecisive on Cardano is because the market's indecisive on Cardano. I want my trading to reflect in my mindset, the mindset of the market. The market doesn't know what it wants to do right now. After it's decided, boom, I'm going to decide I'm going to enter a trade. So when you're caught between two options, that's how you do it. If Cardano does break to the downside, and if Cardano does move into a downtrend, here's what you do. You look at the fundamentals and you look at the technicals. You look at the technicals for your trades, you look at the fundamentals for your investments. If the technicals say, this is our support level, we're going to bounce here, great. Look for a long trade. If it says we're going to pull back from this level to this level, great. Enter a short trade. If you're looking for an investment, think about the fundamentals. Do I want to buy a dip? Because where do I think Cardano is going to be in the future? That, my friends, is how you need to approach the market. And I hope you see the value in that. It's something we preach about quite a lot here. Mindset is more important than analysis. Mindset is upstream from your analysis because you can be the best analyst in the world, but if you don't know how to apply it, you will not be successful. I'm going to throw it back to chat here for a second, guys. What do we see in chat, my friend Timothy?
Yeah, no, I think you really wrapped it up really good there. Did you give a number on what you think it's going to get down to?
So
price prediction?
So yes, thank you for reminding me to actually say that. If Cardano breaks to the downside, we are doing a little bit of an if-then statement. If Cardano breaks below 97 cents, I think it's going to pull down to 75 cents. That's where I think it's going to go. If we pull back to 75 cents, that's probably a pretty good investment position, even if it drops lower. If it breaks to the upside, I think we're going back to all-time high. You might think that's a cop-out of an answer, but it's really not. If we're looking at the market through that lens of making the decision after the market has decided, there's no point in me saying Cardano's going to do this or Cardano's going to do that with absolute confidence when the market doesn't know what it's going to do. I'm going to reflect what the market's saying. If it breaks down, it's going to go here. If it breaks up, it's going to go here. That's what I can tell you right now. After it's broken out, we can do some more technical analysis on it. But for now, my predictions are if we break to the downside below $1, then we're going to 75 cents. If we break bullish above $1.15, we are going to $1.50. Those are my predictions. Thank you for reminding me to actually put that in words.
Yeah, so I mean, that's about it. Just to wrap up, if people were just joining or if people got maybe a little bit confused, this is what the real meat of what Jeb is saying here is think smart. Think smart. Like, don't just freak out because you see something dropping. Look at the fundamentals. Look at the technical analysis. Look at the history, and then make your decision. We cannot tell you what to do with your money. We wouldn't want to tell you what to do with your money. What we are telling you is Crypto Jeb, the team, we are looking at this drop and we are waiting for the day that is like, bang, we are going to actually invest a good money because we like this project. You don't have to like the project. You might not like the project, but use that same logic on any project you do like. Any coin, if you like the fundamentals and you believe in that coin and you see it strong, buy in the dip because that's where the money is made. So that being said, I mean, we're done with Cardano. I would like us, before we make our future predictions on Bitcoin for Monday, I would like to have everybody, real quick, you guys have a lot of freedom to spam the chat because we're going to be discussing one of 5 coins. We noticed 5 coins that I've seen talked about a good amount in chat in the last couple of days, so we're going to let you guys vote on them. Don't put another coin in the chat, just your vote on one of these 5. We saw a lot of movement in Theta, AVAX or Avalanche, Chiliz, Nem, and Terra. So right now, go ahead and spam our chat. Let us know what you want to hear Jeb break down on technical analysis, and we'll give it just a second before we jump into that.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for that, Tim. We are going to be diving into one of those 5 cryptocurrencies. So like you said, go ahead and put your vote in the chat. You are free to spam the chat for the next 2 minutes. In 2 minutes, if you're still spamming, you'll be put in timeout. You'll be put in timeout, so don't do that. But you can spam for right now. Go ahead and spam. And by the way, if you haven't already, consider liking the live stream. We very much appreciate everybody tuning in. I hope we are giving you great quality content. Somebody said that Tim and Jeb look like great dudes, but they both smoke a lot of ganja, which is funny because I hate the smell of marijuana. I'm just going to be honest with you.
I was going to say, my mother always was worried I would. I don't know what I did to scare her so bad, but I honestly have never even touched it. You know, it was actually a long time before I even really knew what it was.
Yeah, tell them while we're waiting on the votes. You want to tell them about while we're waiting on the votes, you want to tell them about the story with the skunk and the one you told me?
Well, okay, first of all, you guys, oh man. So I was homeschooled growing up. I was homeschooled, very sheltered. Yeah, so definitely not how Zach is laughing at me, making me think that definitely needs to be taken away. But yeah, so I was homeschooled. My mom was very afraid that if I got in with the wrong crowd, I would become a drug addict pretty much. I guess I had that personality. I didn't know what marijuana even smelled like until I was probably like 15 or 16 when I was literally in the middle of the city and it smelled like skunk. Like, it's pretty similar, but I was like, why would a skunk be in the middle of Tampa? Like, that doesn't even make sense. And someone explained to me what that actually was. So now I know. Yeah.
Yeah. No, the first time I smelled it, my dad brought a bucket home from work, and he said, "Hey, Jeb, smell this." So I was like, no. And he said, "No, come on, please. It's going to be funny." And I said, "Okay." So I smelled it. He said, "You know what that is?" And I was like, "No, I have no idea what that is." And he said, "That's marijuana." I said, "Oh, that smells like crap." Very unpopular opinion in the cryptocurrency space. But it is what it is.
So, okay, so here's the thing. We had great feedback on almost all the coins, right? So we are going to make sure before, we're not going to be able to discuss all of them today, obviously, but we will make sure all these coins get talked about at some point on our show. So you guys got to make sure to check in from day to day. I'm going to take personal ability to take control. I really want you to break down Chili's. So I don't think it was necessarily the worst ever. It's really hard actually to tell from chat which one was the most. So I'm going to go ahead and say we're going to break that one down today. But if you voted for Theta or if you voted for AVAX or NEM or Terra or anything, we will talk about those at some point either next week or the week after in the shows because I'm sure that those will continue to be hot topics. But for today, we are going to do Chili's. So now spamming chat is done. Please do not spam it anymore, and we will break down this coin for you.
Before we get into the fundamentals, I think you were looking at... Before we get into the technicals, I think you were actually looking at the fundamentals a little bit. You want to clue people in on that?
Well, I mean, by no means am I an expert. This is literally based off of, I think, 10 minutes of research. It looks like a coin specifically used and designed for the sports world, which I think is super fascinating. That is my world. That is where I'm at. I've said before, there's times where it's almost like I'm bullied in the office because I love sports and everybody else is really into anime and video games.
That's not me.
And
I'm not the weirdo.
So I'm the minority. So I get bullied. I'm the biggest guy in the office, and yet I'm still bullied. So that doesn't make it okay. Don't be a sizist. Anyway, moving forward, the sports world is a massive industry financially, and this is why I'm so excited about the future of crypto, and I'm sure you guys are as well. There's a lot of reasons to be excited about crypto, but from my point of view, someone who comes from the sports world, when the sports world gets involved on something, it explodes. And so this coin was specifically designed with that in mind. So therefore, I'm very excited about the potential of this coin. Again, about 10 minutes of fundamental research. I need to do more. I want to do more. I'm going to do more. But that's what I know.
Cool. All right, guys. Well, we are going to go ahead and do a little bit of technical analysis on Chili's. If you are excited, drop a 1 in chat. I would love to see it. If you haven't already, consider liking the live stream and go and follow us on our Instagram and our Twitter at CryptoJeb, because since we hit the 500 like milestone, apparently I'm going to go ahead and wrap over on our Instagram channel. Go ahead, Tim.
Also, real quick, because I want to make sure you guys get the chance, there are 1,300 people watching. We've had like up to over 1,500, I think. We still got, if we get to 1,000 likes, we're giving away CT2A to one lucky winner in the chat. But we're not even going to decide what that looks like until we get that 1,000 likes. So if you're sitting out here watching and you would love to take CT2A for free, you have a chance to get in that winning. Make sure you hit that like button and make sure you stay connected so that we tell you what word to comment, so you'll be entered to win that reward.
Absolutely, guys. And on that note, let's go ahead and do some of the technical analysis that you will learn in the Cryptocurrency Technical Analysis Academy over on Chili's. Guys, Chili's is, let's see, number 35 cryptocurrency by market capitalization. Is trading just under 50 cents, has a market cap of $2.7 billion. And as you can see, it has metaphorically, but more like literally, completely exploded in the last month or so. If we look at the chart here, just to give you context, this is the logarithm chart. Yeah. This is the log chart, and this is what this looks like. This is the linear chart. This is just stupid how much this has rallied. Definitely cryptocurrency that we're going to do some more fundamental analysis on. Ever since Valentine's Day, Chili's is up 1,350%. That's less than 30 days ago. It has rallied over 1,000%. So you want my technical analysis on this coin? It's overextended, and it's being pumped right now, and it's in something that we like to call price discovery mode. Right now, Chili's has no idea what it should be worth. The market has no clue what it should be valued at. It's a very new project, and because of that, its technicals are very warped. This is something that you guys need to understand. Technical analysis is not just understanding how to do technical analysis on cryptocurrencies. It's also understanding the limitations of technical analysis. It's actually something very important that no one ever really thinks about. Something we cover in the Cryptocurrency Technical Analysis Academy are the limitations of technical analysis. Right now, the technical analysis on Chiliz is actually being dominated, literally, by the fundamental analysis. It's rallying for some fundamental reason that we're going to go and do more research on. Tell us in the chat why you think it's rallying so much. The technicals, however, look like this. Right now, the MACD is unreadable. It is incredibly bullish, more so than it has ever been by a couple of orders of magnitude. The RSI is sitting at 94, which is indicative that, yeah, it needs to correct. It's rallied 1,300% in 30 days. Moving averages are just a joke right now. So is TD sequential. It is so massively overextended. It needs a huge correction. But here's the thing. Just because technically speaking it needs a huge correction does not necessarily mean that it's going to happen. A lot of times what we see is that these cryptocurrencies will freaking moonshot, and then what happens? They have a giant correction? Well, it depends. It depends on what the actual price discovery comes to conclude. What we have to do in these cases is we have to understand where technical analysis breaks down, and we have to go back to fundamental analysis. The technical analysis on Chiliz a month ago said it was overextended, and then what did it do? Rallied 1,300%. Right now, this chart is being dominated by its fundamental analysis. So if you want to learn more about Chiliz, I encourage you to go and look into its fundamentals. As Tim said, they are betting, if you will, on the sports world, and has been adopted by a lot of large soccer teams. I think FC Barcelona is one of them. This is a project that sounds like it has a lot of potential. I don't personally know very much about it at all, but it is something we're going to do some technical analysis on. Fundamental analysis on. I'm sorry, but that's actually the best I can do as far as TA is concerned. This is one of those areas where technical analysis's effectiveness is actually very limited. What are your thoughts on that, Tim?
Yeah, no, actually, I completely agree, especially when I was reading some of the people who are still very excited about it. They said, hey, we're very glad that people love how high this coin is right now, but it is for sure overextended. We don't really know the full value of this. And that is something, when I said I want to do more research, I mean I want to do more research before I get invested, because as excited as I am about that coin, I am not sold yet on purchasing yet because I don't know yet. Like, I'm not sold on not purchasing it yet either. I would love, if it is everything it could be, this sounds like it would be a great coin, but I'm not going to just jump the gun and go off of a whim. I think we talked about it a little bit ago. I don't want to attach myself to that coin. You guys should never attach yourself to a certain coin. You should always be following its fundamentals, its technical analysis, and making sure it's actually valued correctly. So this is something I personally am definitely going to put a lot more of my time into, because if this is true and if it does take off in the sports world, it could be massive.
Someone asked, and I kind of have to clarify. Someone asked, why did my dad have a bucket of weed?
That's a great question. I was wondering the same thing.
That's a very good question. Okay, so my dad was helping to do a remodel on some college dormitories, and there was a 5-gallon bucket that was empty that had apparently had some ganja in it. He didn't bring a bucket of weed home, so I just want to clear my dad's name. That's not what happened. He brought this bucket home saying, hey, this smells like weed. I'm going to show it to Jeb so that he knows what not to go and do. He didn't bring home a bucket of weed, just so you know. I just had to clarify that. We got to be careful about telling stories on stream with no context, because we're going to make some people look bad. Sorry, Dad, if you're watching. Guys, I hope you enjoyed today's live stream. We started off with some Bitcoin technical analysis, then we dumped into some Binance coin technical analysis in our 2-minute technical segment. We also just talked about Cardano, and we talked about what you should do whenever Cardano or any cryptocurrency is in a position where you can't really tell, are the bulls in control or are the bears in control? The mistake that we make as traders and investors is we try to be certain when the market is uncertain. Let me say that again. The mistake we make often, and this is very little talked about, we try to be certain when the market is uncertain. Especially as YouTubers, we can fall into this by thinking, oh, people are looking to us. We have to figure out what is this market going to do so that we can tell people. Well, if the market's not telling you, don't make something up. I can't tell you what Cardano is going to do because right now it's in a period of indecision. I can, however, tell you what it will do with some degree of certainty if certain things transpire. So what we talked about earlier is that if Cardano breaks below a very important support level at 97.5 cents, it's likely going to pull back to 75 and find support there, where we as a company will be investing in it. If, however, Cardano breaks an important downtrending level of resistance, which you can find on its hourly chart, it will likely rally to and above all-time high. Its fundamentals are strong. I could see it going to several dollars in the next 12 to 24 months, but really on the technical aspect, don't make your decision before the market market has made its decision. There's no point. You can wait until the market makes its decision and then follow that decision. And as the analogy goes earlier, you can bet on what team's going to win the Super Bowl in the fourth quarter. Don't try and bet a month early when you don't have all the information.
Unless,
you can do that in sports, but you can do it in trading. What's up?
I will say one caveat for those who are sports fans. If you had bet on that Super Bowl between New England and Atlanta, that would have sucked.
You should have betted that it was going to be a boring game.
You should always bet on Brady. That's what it really is.
Yeah.
No matter what the score looks like in the fourth quarter. I think they were down at one point. I think it was third quarter, but they were down by like, was it 28, 30, 31 or 28 points, and they came back and won. That was rough. Rough.
Nerd. No, I'm kidding.
I'll take it. I mean, that gets
I'm
me
joking.
nerd.
I like football.
Yeah. Yeah. So, moving before we close the stream. So we're not at 1,000 likes yet. We're pretty far away. We're gonna give you guys one last effort, one last thing to get a free access to CT2A. So, not exactly sure how long this will take. Maybe 5 minutes. Make sure you hit that like button. We are gonna give our predictions on what Bitcoin will look like Monday morning at 9:30 Eastern time. So, just so you guys know, I'm gonna update it right now. Bitcoin is sitting at 56,226. All right. So if you are just, if you're missing, if you guys joined and you don't know where Smay is at Disney World with his Mickey watch. Bolvito reminded us. Thank you for keeping tabs on him, Bolvito. He's at Disney World, so definitely not high. Zach is making a proxy prediction for Smay. So he's winning right now. He of the 4 competitions, he's won 2 of them. So don't mess up his streak. What we're going to do, as we just started yesterday doing, we are all going to write down our prediction before we announce it.
I've got mine.
You guys go ahead and chat. Let us know what you think. By the way, in case you guys are wondering, we have Smay, who some people love it, but in all reality, Smay usually is the hater. He is the guy who likes to be a downer. Team Tim is the voice of the people. I want you guys to have money. I want you guys to succeed. So if you really want to join a team that cares about you, that is Team Tim. Jeb, we're deciding if he really is the voice of truth, voice of integrity after his dirty tactics a couple days ago.
My dirty tactics that won.
He did win, but at what cost?
It is definitely dirty.
You decide. Comment in the chat if you're a Team Jeb, Team Tim, Team Smay.
Come on,
Give us
guys.
just a second and we
Join
will make
me,
our
Team
predictions.
Jeb. Let's go. Come on, Team Jebbers. Someone says CT2A changed my life. That sounds like a Team Jeb to me because I made that course. Welcome to CT2A if you just joined. Okay, I have my prediction. I don't have anything to write with, but I will continue to be the voice of integrity, and I will tell you that I'm not changing it. I know what it is.
Definitely not high. Zach, do you have your prediction written down?
I have no pen, no paper.
All right, so can we at least use some honesty here? I wrote mine down, so I will be for sure be honesty. You know your number in your head right now.
I know my
correct?
number.
All right, here we go. Jeb, go ahead and give us your number so we can write that down.
You just want me to go first because you
It
don't
doesn't matter.
trust me.
I have mine written down. It is.
He
It
doesn't
is
trust
set.
me.
It is set.
Either way, my prediction is $55,000 for Bitcoin. And the reason for that is because, as we talked about earlier, I believe that Bitcoin is moving into a cup and handle formation, and I believe that over the course of the next 3 days or so, we're going to have to actually build that handle before we go into breakout. A couple of weeks from now, I think we'll be trading at more like $65,000, but 3 days from now, on Monday, when we come back at 9:30 a.m. Eastern Time, I think we're going to be trading at $55,000. Tim?
All right. So actually, because mine is written down, so I have the most level of honesty. I'm gonna go last.
Man, trust nobody. Were you hurt as a child?
I actually was, but that's a whole different thing. Zach, definitely not high. Zach, what are you saying Smay would think? I really need you to think like Smay. What would Smay say in this situation, being a Debbie Downer?
If I'm Smay and I'm the downer, and I'm thinking like Smay, man, if I'm Smay, I'm gonna go for 54.5.
54.5. So it seems like Smay's using the dirty Jeb tactics of going right below someone else's prediction. But you know what? That's something maybe Smay would do. I don't know. If you're Team Smay, support him in chat.
Hey, just so y'all know, everybody's saying Team Jeb. Let's go, Team Jeb. Voice of integrity, voice of truth. That is me. That is I. Tim is a populist. He is trying to manipulate you and trick you into going for his team. He's trying to become the president, but you're already the president, so what gives? I really wonder what you're up to.
Here's the thing.
Politician.
I want people to know before I give my prediction. Team Tim is here for you.
Oh
Team
my
Tim
gosh,
wants
here we go
you
again.
to do the best you could ever do.
Here we go again.
Tim is a optimist. He loves to see the best in life. So That is why he makes his predictions.
Y'all cannot fall for this.
And at the end of the day, everyone who's commenting Team Jeb, I just want you to know Team Jeb and Team Tim are tied for being correct. And the only reason why Jeb has a win is because of dirty tactics going
it's because of
$1 less than
technical
Tim. It's dirty tactics. I have never once cheated. I have never once tried to manipulate other people.
Not only do you look like a dirty politician, you sound like one too at the moment. I'm just letting you know. You sound slimy.
Again, I will say this again.
It makes sense. He's the president.
I will say this again. This is the thing. Team Tim, as president, does what the people put him in office to do.
Y'all cannot
He doesn't have his own
believe this guy.
agenda. He does not have his own agenda. He serves the people, which is what politicians were supposed to do in the first place. So if you are Team Tim and you believe with me in the positive things in life, you believe that Bitcoin will go to $60,000 at 9:30 Monday morning because we will do this together. If you enjoy, please put down Team Tim because that's what's actually best for everybody.
I agree with JM. He said, you homeschool kids need some help. I can agree with that completely.
And the best way we could be helped was by joining our team. We need teams to ship. But also, like I said, it's up to you. Comment Team Tim, Team Jeb, Team Smay. Do you care about yourself? I think you'd put Team Tim.
Stephen Watson said he's a man of the people. Then why did you join Team Tim? He is clearly manipulating you. He is clearly lying to you. Do you not understand based off of the way politics is right now?
Listen.
He's trying to trick you.
At the end of the day, the votes are in. Check back in Monday morning, 9:30. We'll give you the results.
Yes, sir.
And I'm turning back over to you, Jeb, to close this out.
Good deal. Well, guys, I hope you did enjoy today's live stream. Drop a like if you did. Consider subscribing to the channel. We are trying to hit 100,000 subscribers before summer, and I think we're going to get there with your help. If there are any improvements that we can make to this stream, I want you to shoot us an email to support@cryptojeb.com. I'm trying to get used to us having our own domain. Support@cryptojeb.com is our new customer service email. We are constantly trying to make improvements to this stream, and I'm really happy about the way it's going. Any suggestions you have, please shoot them over there. Make sure to follow us on Instagram because apparently I'm going to be rapping over on Instagram because we hit 500 likes. If you're looking forward to that, follow us on Instagram. Tim's XRP technical analysis video is also going to be going up over there.
Oh my gosh.
So make sure to follow him over there @CryptoJeb. Anyway, guys, that is going to wrap it out for today's live stream. If you did enjoy, like I said, hit that like and subscribe button. But that's going to do it for today's live stream. Before I go, though, I do just first want to thank each and every single last one of you for watching, as always. And I will see you guys in the next live stream. Peace.